Hey guys, just thought I'd go on here really quick to discuss the common questions that I get when telling someone I am going on a thru hike of the Pacific Crest Trail. Usually the same questions over and over again, so thought I'd go over those. And by the way, hopefully this looks better on YouTube. A couple people posted comments on my first video saying if you flip your phone, it'll look better. So hopefully it takes up the whole screen this time. Okay, so let's jump right in. The first question, and I actually am kind of surprised that this is usually the first question people ask. It's usually the first couple questions are about safety, which makes sense, I guess. But usually the first question is, are you bringing a gun? So I am not. I am bringing a combat knife, and I'm probably going to have it visible. But the tough part about bringing a gun on the trail is it's illegal to carry in certain areas. So especially into Canada, you're not allowed to do that. So when you're hiking on the Pacific Crest Trail, you're going through different types of land, going through federal, state, and then BLM land, which is the Bureau of Land Management. So there are different rules on these different plots of land as you go through, and I just don't even want to deal with that complication at all. So I am not doing that, but I am carrying a knife. Okay, second question is also about safety. Are you going with a group? Who are you going with? So I have a backpacking partner that I am going with personally, but even if I was solo hiking, what seems to happen on the trail is 50 people start a day. So there's a lot of people starting at the same time. And what happens is you form trail families, which are people that are compatible with you, and you hike at the same pace maybe, or you meet at the next campground. So you're never really, I would say, truly alone unless you want to be. So even if I was solo hiking, I would still have people who would keep tabs on me, most likely. How long will it take? So I'm hopefully going to finish in 5 months. That's my goal. Some people do it in 3, some people do it in 6. So I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, 5 months. So hopefully, fingers crossed, by the beginning of September, I'll be done. Why are you doing this? So I kind of discussed this in my first video too, but I work in a corporate environment. I'm in corporate finance, so I don't get outside a lot, and I just really crave that. So what better way than to spend 5 months in nature? So that's part of it. I just want to get out and have a different perspective on life, and maybe I go back to finance, maybe I don't. I really do like it, but we'll see how I feel when I get back. And I also just want to get involved with the community, and I've heard the people are really great. So that's another reason why I'm doing it, just to prove something to myself. I am competitive with myself, I guess you could say. So it's a challenge, and I would really like to see if I can do it or not. So a lot of variables, but we'll see. Are you camping? So yes, be camping the whole way, backpacking the whole way up. However, I'll probably be going into a town once a week to resupply and take a shower and do laundry and all that stuff. So once a week about I will be in town. And maybe, I guess sometimes I will be staying in a hotel if the weather is bad or that sort of thing, but mostly it will be camping on the trail. Let's see here. I have a list so I don't forget anything. Are you afraid? So yes, I am afraid, but my excitement surpasses my fears. So there are a couple things I'm afraid of specifically. So the snow this year is one of them. I know there's a lot of talk going on about how those conditions are going to be. It's going to be a really interesting year to be hiking the PCT because there is a big snowpack. River crossings will be scary as well. So I just have to make sure I go with the group when I do that. So yes, the snow in general, whether it's there and cold or melting and dangerous in the rivers, that does kind of scare me a little bit because I hate to be cold. I'm also scared of mountain lions. I've never seen one in the wild, and I know most people who hike the Pacific Crest Trail are either stalked by one a couple times or they actually see a mountain lion. So I know it's probably going to happen. I just need to be aware of what to do when I do see one. So you don't run away from a big cat. You try to look big and stand your ground. So I have to read up more on that, but those are the main things that I know right now. So more to come on that. Let's see, how many miles a day are you going to be hiking? So my average is going to hopefully be 20 miles a day. Might be shorter, might be longer on certain days, but an average of 20 miles. Let's see, what will you do in an emergency? So I have a Garmin InReach, and that's going to be right here on my pack, right on my strap, in case I need it. So it can call in like a helicopter if I, get hurt or something and I can't move. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I can also actually text with my family because it connects to satellite. So I can do that, and I can also communicate with my backpacking partner if we get separated. So that's a really great tool. It's expensive, but the peace of mind is definitely worth it. And also on that note, I did take, if somebody else is having an emergency and maybe I could help out, I took a wilderness first aid class, and it was so wonderful. So I would recommend, if anybody plans to thru hike in the future, or if anybody just hikes a lot in general, that's a really great class to take because it empowers you to be able to help someone if they're in need, and you just know what to do. And they didn't go over CPR training, but I have that as well, so I think that's really worth it too. Let's see, what's the highest point you'll be at on the trail? So Forester Pass is 13,200 feet. So if I don't hike Mount Whitney, that will be the highest point. But if I hike Mount Whitney, that'll be over 14,000 feet. I think it's 14,500 or something like that. But I hiked Mount Whitney last year, so I don't know if I might want to do it again. We'll see if my group is doing it, but I don't necessarily have to hike Mount Whitney. That's kind of an optional part of the trail. Okay, a lot of people, when I start talking about the Pacific Crest Trail, they'll start saying Pacific Coast Trail, but it's actually called Pacific Crest, C-R-E-S-T, Crest Trail. How far is the trail? So it's just over 2,650 miles. So yeah, it's pretty far. And then where does the trail go? So it goes from the Mexican border to the Canadian border. So I'll be starting in Campo, which is near the Mexican border, and I'll be finishing in Manning Park, which is near the Canadian border. How many pairs of shoes will you go through? So I think the average is 5 to 6 pairs of shoes. So that's what I'm looking at. And I am using the Brooks Cascadia shoe. So that's what works for me. A lot of people use Ultra Lone Peaks, but that, for whatever, it just didn't work. The zero drop didn't work for me, so I had to switch over. And then the last question I get a lot is, how are you training for this? Or are you training for this? So I am, and I actually love to train. I was an Irish dancer for, 13 years. That was like big time training, just growing up. So it's something I really love to do. And also I've run half marathons and 10Ks, 5Ks, and you have to train to do that. Well, at least I did. So really like to train, enjoy it. So I am running almost every day, and I am trying to hike with my pack as much as I can too. And I'm also I'm going to be doing 4 hikes to practice before. I've already done 3, so that we're calling them shakedown hikes. So I'm going to be doing 4 of those total before I head out on the PCT. So 1 more to go. The other 3 went really well. So I'm just really refining my gear and food, and also just training in the process. So anyway, those are the questions. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comment section, and I will try to answer them for you. And until then, I will check in soon. Bye.